Welcome to episode 101 of the Sports Marketing Machine podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Neisser. My family and I recently took a trip to Disneyland, and while we had an absolute blast, a lot of great photos, the girls had a marvelous time, I couldn't help but put on that sports marketer hat and take notes inside of my phone on how Disney creates an unforgettable fan experience. From the moment you walk through the gates to the time that you leave, everything is strategic, seamless, and designed to make you want to come back. The best part is you don't need a Disney-sized budget to apply these same tactics or strategies at your games. In this episode, I'm going to break down 6 powerful fan experience lessons from my recent Disneyland trip that you can use to create magical moments for your fans, boost engagement, and keep them coming back for more. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Sports Marketing Machine podcast, the show that helps those working in sports level up your marketing and fan experience so you can sell more tickets, increase merchandise sales, grow your fan base, and have a blast while you're doing it. I'm your host, Jeremy Neisser. Recently, like I'd mentioned, my family and I, we went to Disneyland, and I took out my phone and I made notes in my notes app of some of the things that I noticed and even some of the interactions that I had with workers and characters at Disneyland, and I want to share these with you today because there's some great takeaways that you can use to help implement. You may not be able to do all 6 of these, but there's a few of these you say, you know what, that's really great. This would enhance our fan experience. So let me dive right in. The first interaction that we had was with the characters. So my daughter and I, we went up and we met Tigger and Pooh Bear. We were in the line waiting to get an autograph from Tigger for our book and take a picture. And as we're waiting in line, there was a little girl before us who was giving Tigger a hug. As we watched, Tigger didn't stop hugging until the little girl did. Essentially, the lesson here is mascots never let go first. So they always are creating this marvelous experience, but they wanted the kid to let go of the hug before the mascot did. So this is a very simple thing that you can tell your person who performs as your mascot. Hey, when you go in for a hug, let the kid let go first. What this does is that creates such an unbelievable experience. Sure, it's a little bit awkward for all of us standing and waiting in line to get our picture or what have you, but the parent and the family member will never ever say, well, it was a quick hug. You only gave him a quick hug. Like they won't be able to give him anything to even argue about. But more importantly, kids want hugs. They love it. So that was really special for us to be able to watch that. It happened again when we were in line with Pooh Bear. We watched that, and then I asked a worker, hey, what's going on here? And they say, yeah, they're trained to never let go of the hug first. Such a great lesson here. It's a small little thing that you can do, but it's a great lesson. Number 2 takeaway, when we were waiting in line for a ride and they're instructing you, hey, go ahead and move forward, or here's your turn, or here's the instructions of how you get all buckled in for the ride, we were never spoken to as fans. They use specific words like friends or guests. They never said, hey, fans, do this. They said, hey, friends, hey guests, please do this. Anytime we ask an employee for directions to a ride or even where the churros were located, it was the same thing. All right, friends, I want you to go down this way here. And when they were pointing, it was never a 1-finger point. It was either 2 fingers or an open hand that pointed you in the direction of wherever it was. So 2 things here is we were never spoken to as fans or ticket buyers. We were spoken to as friends or guests. And anytime an employee was asked for information or asked for anything and they were providing direction, they always used 2 fingers to point or an open hand. Number 3, I had the opportunity to chat with an employee who had been working for Disneyland for over 10 years. And this person had been there working in different areas of the park. One of the places where they had most recently been working, and then had started their career working as well, was kind of like the ice cream booths. There's little kiosks that they're selling ice creams. And they shared that several times a day they were instructed to give away ice cream to guests. And it wasn't just them giving an ice cream to a guest. They explained that it was specifically from a character. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And he said, okay, let me show you. So he grabbed an ice cream and he walked over to a little girl who was wearing a Snow White shirt and said, hey, Snow White wanted me to give you this. She told me to give this to you. She saw you walking around the park. And the girl lit up like a Christmas tree. She was so excited and happy that Snow White recognized and saw her walking through the park, and he gave her that ice cream. And he explained to me afterwards, he said, this is the difference, is that Snow White gave her the ice cream, not me. If it was just me, hey, that's great. Thank you, Mr. Worker Person. But it was Snow White, the character, this amazing person that the kids look up to. And in fact, this kid was wearing the shirt. And he says that makes the difference, is it comes from someone else. It doesn't come from us. And it comes from the people who the kids want to see. And that was so moving to us, because I was like, man, teams can do this in so many different ways. Maybe you have a star player, maybe you have a mascot, but doing little things like this, like little small giveaways that you can give to fans that came from a specific person, and you mention that, boy, that's going to really enhance your fan experience. Number 4, how they pick up trash around the ballpark. It's such a fascinating thing. When you walk around Disneyland, you don't see any trash around. You don't see any garbage on the trash cans. Things get cleaned up in a blink of an eye and so fast. And one of the things that I quickly saw is they didn't bend down to pick up the trash. They kind of slightly bent their knees and scooped it up. And they did it so fast that no one would see it. And they did it in a way that it was so quick. And a lot of them had those little trash picker things. So if there was a little piece of a wrapper or what have you, they had a little picker thing. But it was so fast how they did it. And they didn't make a big deal about it. They just picked it up really quick, grabbed it, threw it in the trash can, and moved on their way. But they did it so fast and they scooped it up so quick. It was a great lesson, because oftentimes we have porters or folks working around our facilities, arenas, ballparks, even stadiums, where they're bending down and they're scooping up trash, and it may take a couple moments, but they are trained to be very quick on how they scoop up trash. The next lesson, which is very similar to the lesson number 4, the takeaway here is they don't get cheap on keeping their facility clean. I'm going to say that again. They do not get cheap on keeping their facility clean. It is always pristine. So in addition to them kind of scooping it up, you will never find a paper sign at that concession stand with a special of the day. You will never see a paper sign in the restroom that says, hey, this is out of order, or caution tape around something being out of order. They're very fast to fix things, extremely fast, and they're on it. They never do the paper signs. They make things look fantastic when they are putting things in. So there may be something that's completely out of order today, but it isn't a handwritten sign or a printed sign that says it's out of order. They make it look in their Disney style. And why, and they do it this specific way, because otherwise it would be off-brand. It would just be off-putting. And I think we've all experienced that in our life, where we've gone to a sporting event or gone to an event, there was a paper sign that says out of order, or there was a paper sign in the concession stand that says, hey, this is a special of the day. And it just looks cheap, to be quite candid with you. Just looks cheap. So I wouldn't recommend that, but they do not get cheap on keeping their facility clean and looking pristine. So you will never see a paper sign, and that's a great lesson for you. Number 6, surprise moments. One of the many things that I love about Disneyland is they are known for surprise moments. From a random parade to characters walking around to musical performances, they really lean into surprises to delight their guests. So let me give you the takeaways for this one. Number 1, the mascot who never lets go. Fans, especially kids, form emotional connections with mascots. Just like us, it was Tigger at Disneyland who never let go of that hug with their guests. Your mascots, entertainers, should always let the fans dictate the interaction. So train your mascots, fan engagement staff to mirror Disney's approach here and let the fans set the moment, not the performer. Number 2, treat fans like guests, not customers. So remember, our experience, we were never treated as a guest. We were treated as a guest. We were never treated as a fan or a ticket buyer or what have you, or a customer. We were always friends or guests. So every interaction is about making people feel welcomed, not sold to. So train your staff on using welcoming language when interacting with fans, calling them guests or friends instead of ticket holders or customers or buyers. Changing that tone will definitely enhance your fan experience. Another takeaway here from some of the things that I've shared earlier, Disney employees are trained to create unexpected moments of delight. Just like I was sharing about that ice cream that was given to the kid on behalf of Snow White. That was so great. Surprising and delighting your fans by incorporating some random acts of kindness are going to go a long way. So have your staff or mascots, if you can do it, do some free merchandise or VIP seat upgrades, or even an ice cream from the concession stand, or even autographs. Something small like that will create lifelong memories and build some emotional connections to your team. Number 4, paying attention to every single detail, even the trash pickup. So Disney employees, like I had mentioned, they never bend over to pick up trash. They kind of squat down, scoop it up elegantly, and then even just that small process that they do this, they're very careful, and it's a curated experience for them. So train your staff on thinking about keeping a clean and professional environment. Those small details will contribute to your fans' overall impression of your venue. Specifically, cleanliness, efficiency, and then well kept all contribute to a first-class fan experience. The lesson 5, presentation. Remember, no cheap signage. You're never going to see that paper sign taped to a wall or a makeshift out of order notice at Disneyland. Everything is polished, professional, and fits their brand. So if you can, eliminate temporary looking signage. If you have a concession special, use something high printed or even a digital screen instead of those handwritten notes. If something's out of order, ensure the signage reflects a well branded professional tone. And another takeaway here, surprise and delight your fans with spontaneous opportunities or entertainment. So Disney is obviously a master of surprises, from unexpected parades that I had mentioned, or characters, or even just the unexpected things that take place. The magic is in what guests don't see coming. How can you interject surprise moments into your game day experience? An unannounced player meet and greet, pop-up performances, some sort of giveaway. Keep your fans on their toes with unexpected, delightful moments. Final takeaway for you, Disney is legendary at making fan experience not just about the rides. It's all about the little moments that make guests feel special, valued, and eager to return. So for you, same principles apply. Train your staff on creating these personal guest-first experiences. Look for small, meaningful ways to delight fans. Ensure your venue just looks polished and professional, and embrace spontaneous moments that make every game feel unique. So when fans feel emotionally connected to their experience, they don't just attend the games, they become lifelong supporters. How many people that you know love Disney, love Disneyland? There's a lot. And this is partially part of the reason why. These are just a small tip of the iceberg reason why, but it gives you a peek into how you can craft your fan experience a little bit differently to enhance it and make it so magical for your fans. If you found this episode helpful, please take a moment to share a positive rating and review on Apple or Spotify. It helps teams just like you and marketers just like you discover these strategies, sell more tickets, boost fan engagement, and create unforgettable game day experiences. Until next time.